What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Rob James coming at you guys with another video, and today I'm going to help you guys get better at aiming in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, we all know the game's been out for like a week now, so we know that the game is vastly different from other Call of Duty titles in terms of mechanics. But you know, I've stuck around long enough through the good and the bad. I've messed around with my aim settings, so after getting this all figured out, I figured I'd go ahead and share this with you guys in hopes of helping you get better at the game if you are still getting frustrated with acquiring your targets. Before I jump into it, if you are brand new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you found this video helpful, and turn on all post notifications if you find yourself coming back to this channel for more content so that you don't miss a beat when I drop videos. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, feel free to drop a like for this video. The last couple of videos I've went on a particularly lengthy rant about the game, but I'm past all that. It's back to business, so let's go ahead and get into it. Here are my settings for my layout here. As you can see, I play on stick and move, and it is flipped because I'm comfortable with aiming down my sights with L1 and firing with R1, especially being someone that came over to Call of Duty on PS4 from Xbox. For my horizontal and my vertical stick sensitivity, I play on 7 universally. For beginners, I would suggest going no lower than a 4 or a 5, and I would suggest going no higher than a 6, but 7 is just my sweet spot. For the ADS sensitivity multiplier on a low zoom, I play on a 0.83. I could easily be playing on 0.80 and 0.85, but being the superstitious person that I am in these video games, I'm not going to fix what's not broken. I set this on accident, but because I've been having some pretty decent matches, I left it alone. For ADS sensitivity multiplier on the high zoom, for your sniper rifles, I play on 1.40. For aim response curve type and aim assist, now this is one of the newer features in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There's been a lot of confusion about what particular settings to use. Me, personally, I would suggest using standard for both of them. Like I said, the aim controls are a little wonky on this game, so let's just start with the basics here. And once we get comfortable with the basics, we will then step outside of our comfort zone and then mess with the other settings. However, I will say that if you are using a sniper rifle, I would suggest going with the precision setting on the aim response curve type. And the reason why I say that is because your ADS slowdown and rotational movement would be very beneficial, you know, in contrast to just the standard. I've experimented with this myself, and I do see that it works. I actually picked this up from another video. If you are using a sniper, use precision because it will help you be more accurate when you are acquiring that target. Now, once you have your settings configured the way you feel most comfortable, do not jump into a multiplayer match right away, because with the skill-based matchmaking in Modern Warfare, you will find yourself getting frustrated if you're not doing too hot your first game on, and if you're anything like me, you will go into your settings mid-match and you will mess with your layout. You don't want to do that because it will cause inconsistency. Instead, go into a custom lobby and max out the number of bots and practice your aim there. I suggest getting a map from one of the gunfight game modes because they're a lot smaller, they're the smallest in the game, and there will be nothing but chaos. That way you can practice your aiming along with the reflexes that come with the aiming. Next, you'll want to know your weapon. I can't emphasize that enough, and the reason why I can't emphasize that enough, because something like this is one of the most overlooked aspects in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There are pros and cons to the attachments for your weapons. We all know this, but we don't necessarily take the cons into consideration when we are customizing our weapons, so I will show an example to you guys. As you can see here, I have the MP5. It is my favorite weapon in the whole game. It's pretty much a crutch for me. For the attachments, I'm using a flash guard on the muzzle. Now, with that, you know, the flash that comes out of the barrel when you're firing your weapon, that is practically non-existent, so it allows me to stay accurate when I'm engaged with the target, and it allows me to maintain my sight picture. Of course, the con would be the bullet velocity. Hit scan is no longer a thing in this particular game. Unless I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but for the most part, we can watch our bullet drop in at certain distances with these weapons, so I am sacrificing that. My bullet drop will happen a lot sooner with the flash guard being equipped. For the optic, I'm using the AIMBOT reflex sight. Now, with virtually all of your optics, your con is going to be the ADS speed. So keep that in mind when you're engaging a target from close range and you pretty much shock one another and you're staring each other face to face at close range. This is why reflexes are a big deal this year. I have the AIMBOT reflex sight. I can't break down necessarily why I have it. I just feel comfortable with it. For the stock, I'm using the Forge TAC Ultralight. It allows me to maintain my aim walking movement speed, especially if I'm ADS and I'm engaged with my target and I'm wanting to strafe left and right. Well, the con is going to be the aiming stability. So knowing your weapon and knowing the recoil on it is a big deal as well. I'm really big on underbarrel and the rear grips. I'm using the Merc 4 grip. As you can see, the cons would be the ADS speed and the aim walking movement speed. So I'm kind of canceling the let me see here. So for the Merc 4 grip, I kind of cancel that out with the Force Tech Ultralight because the aim walking movement speed is a pro on one while is a con on the other. So I don't think it necessarily hurts you. If you cancel that out, you kind of maintain a neutral statistic. However, hip fire accuracy, because I hip fire a lot more in this game than I have in the past, and trust me when I say that this really does help, you will melt your enemies if you are hip firing with this attachment. For the rear grip, I'm using the rubberized grip tape, if I said that right. Once again, recoil control. This is part of knowing your weapon. Not only do I understand the recoil on this weapon, but it will help me maintain my accuracy a whole lot better with the understanding of that recoil, along with having recoil control as a pro. Aiming stability, once again, being a con, but because I'm so comfortable with this weapon and I'm aware of how it operates, it doesn't really hurt me in the long run. Now here's some examples of myself using the MP5 while I throw out one last tip as far as your aim. Now look in the middle of your screen. We talk a lot about centering on your target with your crosshairs. Now that remains the case this year. That is still heavily emphasized, but you would have to do it a little different. Now this is why earlier I talked about playing against bots to fine-tune your aim settings, because this is something that is widely overlooked. Now if you look at the few times that I do sprint, because I don't sprint in this game nearly as much as I have in the past, when you're sprinting, your four-way crosshair disappears and you are just left with a single dot in the middle of your screen. You want to focus that dot as close to the middle of the screen as you can. You will always want to keep it facing upward. That single dot is what you will be using to center onto your target. Now if you watch how my target enters this room, you see how I put him down. Now it's something that's hard at first because it's kind of a multitask, if you will, but just treat it the same way you have been in the past by making sure your target is in the center of your crosshairs. If you will, you can also imagine the four-way crosshairs being around that single dot to center on your target. But once again, just go into the free-for-all, practice with those bots, get into the habit of using that single dot. Do not rely on the four-way crosshairs. Like I said, it's hard at first, but it's something that will get easier as time goes along for you, because that single dot will always be there, whether you're stationary, whether you're walking, whether you're running. So get in the habit of making sure you are using that to center on your target instead of the four-way crosshairs like we have become accustomed to in the past. As an added bonus tip to this video to also get better at your aiming, I would highly advise you guys going to play Gunfight. Gunfight is small, it's compact, it's 2-on-2. Not only will it help you get some familiarity with your aiming against human players, but it will also get you into the habit of recognizing the weapon that you are using. It helps a ton in terms of weapon familiarity. Go into the Gunfight, practice against 2 human players there, and then just slowly transition yourself into multiplayer. Along with that, it's a tip that I didn't cover early when I showed my game settings. Now, my ADS sensitivity for the low zoom is at a 0.85. Now, I don't suggest anyone going any lower than 0.75 or any higher than 1 even. So what I would suggest doing while you're also fine-tuning your aim settings, I would start at 1 even, or I would start at 0.75, either work your way up or work your way down respectively until you find that one setting that you feel comfortable with. Go by 5, from 1 even to 9.5 to 9.0, and so on and so forth, and vice versa, from 7.5 to 8.0 to 8.5, and so on and so forth. You'll want to do these things repetitiously. Stick with it, you'll get the hang of it naturally, and ultimately you will get better at your aiming. So this is going to do it for my video on how to get better at aiming in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Once again, if this video was helpful for you, please feel free to drop a like on the video, and if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on all post notifications so that you don't miss a beat from me when I drop these videos. I will be coming with some more gameplay videos on how you can get better at Modern Warfare. So with that being said, once again, this is your boy Rob James. I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed these tips. Peace.